What's up, guys? It's Jake Hills. Now, a while back, I did a little tips video for analog pitching and zone hitting. After I got done with that video, I felt like I really didn't cover enough that, could help people. I left some stuff out. I didn't go in depth on a lot of stuff. So I'm going to redo the actual hitting part, and that's what this is going to be. It's just going to be like a tips video, stuff that I can tell you that might help you in your game. So, the first thing you want to do when you switch to zone hitting is go into the options, go into gameplay, and then go down to the PCI appearance. Now, you're going to notice that there is a lot of different PCI appearances. There's like 6, I think. So, you need to find one that you like. And, a lot of people like wedge. It kind of resembles the barrel of a bat, and then it has a dot which, kind of mimics a sweet spot on a bat. And then rectical is another one that a lot of people like as well. So I usually use one of these two. I'm going to use rectical for this. And normally when I go into batting practice, I do go to legend difficulty, but I'm going to leave it on all-star just for the video. But that's the first thing you want to do is try to find one that you like. So let's just jump right into this. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that you have free control over the PCI. You can move it anywhere you want within the strike zone. So when the pitcher releases the pitch, you're going to want to track the pitch. And at the same time you're tracking it, you're going to be wanting to read if it's a fastball or a breaking ball. And then at the same time, whether it's going to be a strike or a ball. Plus, move the PCI to the ball and time your swing. And I know that sounds like a lot, but the more you practice this, the better you're going to get at doing it. So, I mean, straight off the bat, like, right before the pitch is released, you're going to want to start looking to track that pitch. And you can use the PCI to track the pitch by, moving it around. And that can actually help you track it better. So some people, I held in R2 way too long. It was a quick pitch. So some people, move it around. They do this, rotate it around just to loosen it up. Because it does help a little bit with tracking it. And then you have to read the pitch, try to register if it's going to be a ball or a strike, fastball, breaking ball, move the PCI to it, and then time your swing. I was early on that one. I rolled over it. But some people do like to move the PCI up to around the point where the pitcher is actually, releasing the ball. That, helps them a little bit with tracking it and locating the PCI on it. So, I mean, you can try that if it helps you, that's a good way for you to be able to do it. I do it every now and then. I try not to do it too much, actually, because sometimes I'll overcompensate on the PCI and, move it too much. But then at the same time, you don't want to leave your PCI stiff because it's actually harder to, it's harder to react that way. You can be focused solely on the ball, but it is harder to react if you just leave it alone. So, in the last video, I didn't really cover this at all, but using control freaks can really help you. They help you move the PCI around, so you can get a better feel for it. I really can't stress how much they really do help. You don't have to get an expensive set, but they do help, and there's all kinds of different control freaks. There's different, cons, like, designs. There's different heights to them, different sizes. So that one really is going to have to be, a personal preference thing. I can tell you what kind I use, which is the Control Freak Galaxies. I use those to pitch, and then for hitting, I think I got these for like $12. There was three in a pack. One of them is short and round. The other one's kind of short and a little bit flatter on top. And the other one is, well, it's kind of short, but it sits up higher and it's flat on top. And then along the side, it has a little, like, dots. But I used the short round one for the PCI, and then for the right analog stick, I actually used the Control Freak Galaxies, and they're kind of concave in their design. They have like a groove where your thumb can actually rest on it. So that's why I prefer them when I'm pitching. But they can really help you as you're using zone hitting. I did not think it would make such a big difference, but it really does. Even with pitching, it really makes a big difference. But the next tip I can give you is know when to be aggressive and know when you should take pitches. And that kind of ties in with the next tip. Find if the person you're playing against, or if the pitcher, the computer, if you're playing against the CPU, but find if the pitcher has any tendencies. Do they always throw a fastball on the first pitch? Is it a changeup low on the first pitch? Do they throw a slider every time it gets to an 0-2 count? Do they throw a fastball when it's a 2-0 count? Try to recognize that. Do they only throw fastballs inside? Maybe high and inside. Do they only throw fastballs there? Because there's a lot of people that throw fastballs inside. And if you can recognize that pretty early, you can use it to your benefit. So that will really help you. But you're going to want to try to lay off as many balls as you can. And it does get hard to do that. I'm not perfect at it either. There's times where I swing at stuff that no one should have swung at, and I'm just sitting there like, what did you just do? But that kind of ties into the be aggressive, take pitches. I took three now, so I'm up to a 3-0 count. I know a strike is probably coming. And I didn't swing and I got walked. So I usually try to take as many pitches as I can. Usually I'll take pitches all the way up until I get the first strike. And then after that, that's when I'm really looking to try to hit. So I'll loosen the PCI, move it around, do that kind of stuff. If I want to move it up here, I will. But I don't always do that, depending really on the person I'm playing. If they keep throwing inside, I might, put it right here or something. But, that's just something that you'll pick up in time. Is learning pretty much how to pick up on tendencies and stuff like that. Now, another thing I'm going to, help you out on is there is a big difference on playing on a monitor and a standard TV. Even playing on a TV that has gaming mode, there's a big difference between that and the standard TV. Now, I know it doesn't seem like it would be that bad, but if you're playing on a standard TV, you're going to be dealing with an input delay. And if that's the case for you, then you're going to have to try to plan ahead. And everybody should be planning ahead anyways, trying to be one step ahead of their opponent. But if you're playing on a standard TV, then you're going to have to try to act ahead. So try to put the PCI to where the ball will actually be, and then swing just a little bit early to try to get good contact on it. And that doesn't always mean you're going to have good timing. There's times, where the delay goes in way too long, or, way too late. There's times where it's actually relatively good. But if you can get a gaming monitor, uh, it can really help you. And there's a big difference in playing on a monitor and playing on a regular TV. There's a huge difference. I used a monitor last year all the way up until the point where it just totally screwed up. Like I just swung at that, missed it. It was late, but it messed up, so I had to get rid of it. And fortunately, the TV that I did have had gaming mode, so I just used that, and I really, you could tell there was a little bit of a longer delay, but it wasn't really that bad. I could still, be decent. But about a month ago, that TV just stopped working. I think the video card went out on it, and I've switched to a standard 37-inch TV, and you can definitely tell that there is a delay here, the input delay. But, the next tip I can give you is to be aware of what's going on in the game at every moment. Here there's a runner at first, there's a runner at second, there's no one at third, there's one out. Okay, there's a lot of times where I get up and I just stop paying attention, and I'll think that there's one out or something, and there's two, and, that's my fault for not being aware of what's going on. And it can help if you do stay aware and not do that, but it can really help if you do stay aware of what is going on. You can recognize when you should steal, if you should at all, stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of times I've let strike three go by me when I thought there was only, one. And that's part of being aware of what's going on. And the next tip I can give you is to try not to drop your PCI too low, which I do a lot. I still do it. Try to be gentle with it. That way you don't get too far underneath the ball, like I just did there. I dropped it too low. The ball was down towards the bottom of the strike zone, and I uppercutted it, and it was a pop-up. So that you're gonna want to try not to do that. Just be gentle with it. Don't just jam it down there. And that's exactly what I did on that last one. That was a little bit better. I didn't actually get it down enough. It was a double play anyways. And that one right there, I don't even think I went down. No, I went over. So, I mean, you're going to have to realize, you're still going to make a few mistakes regardless of what's going on. And you're going to hit stuff right to people. It's going to happen, so just try not to get discouraged about that. And the next thing I can tell you is to look at the pitches that the pitcher on the mound has, and try to, recognize and see how they could use those pitches against you to get you out. So Greinke has a four-seam fastball, a changeup, a two-seamer, a slider, and a curve. So going off that, I know that he could be throwing inside four-seamers. He might throw some low changeups, down in on me or away, since he's a righty. The two-seamer, I wouldn't really be looking for too many two-seamers inside, but that very well could happen. The slider, he could be throwing those inside, and then the curve, he could be trying to get him on the outside corner or the inside corner, or just inside period, trying to get me, to roll over on it. But Yeah, just see right there, a low change up that was, down on this side. Shouldn't have swung at that, but I did. There was the inside curve. So this can help you, as well. If you recognize the pitches he has and automatically look for a way, there's another changeup that's, on the outside corner. But if you look at the pitches and try to just visualize how the pitcher can use them against you, it can really help you a lot in hitting. And there's a lot that goes in to hitting in this game, and it's not it's not easy by any stretch. But the more you practice, the more you use it, the easier it will become. Because when I first switched to zone, I thought there was no way that I could ever be any good doing this because it just seemed like it was too much. Like there was too much to do. Timing it up, it was kind of hard. Which using directional, if you did, it does help with the timing. But moving the PCI and trying to time it up, I mean, it really does seem like it's too much. But the more you use it, the better you will get. And the next tip I can give you is to loosen your thumb up. And, that's pretty much, move your PCI, but keep your thumb loose. And it can actually help you. It helps me. There's a lot of times where I try not to move the PCI as much, so, I won't move it. And then I'll go to swing or something, and I won't even move it. So if I try to loosen up my thumb before, it helps me with, eventually moving it. There's a lot of people that do it this way, and then they go up to where, the ball is getting released and track it from there. So I usually do like something like this, and then like that or something. It's something I've done since last year. And if it's a lefty, I always go up to this corner. If it's a righty, I always go up to this. So, I mean, it like flips depending on what hand the batter is. And the next tip I can give you is to try to know what the weaknesses of the pitcher are. Uh, does he have good per nines? Is your PCI going to shrink? Does he have good control or bad control? Does he have a changeup? Does he not have one? Stuff like that. Try to know the weaknesses of the pitcher you're going against. So, I mean, if you're going against someone like Chapman, he doesn't have good control. So, you're going to really want to be looking and reading that pitch to see if it's going to be a ball or a strike. And if it's a strike, swing away. But if it's going to be a ball, lay off it. Because Chapman has some control issues. And when it comes to that, it's down to the person you're playing against to really execute their pitches. To, get them in good spots. Because he does kind of have bad control, especially the rookie Chapman. If I go up against the rookie Chapman, I usually take as many pitches as I can up until he throws a strike. But if he's just peppering strikes in the zone, I don't do that. Like, I just go ahead and, try to swing away. Now, another tip I can give you is pretty much, I don't know, one that I wouldn't do last year, but one that I kind of feel is necessary this year. And that is power swing. Before one of the patches a while back, I would never power swing. It was always normal swing. Power swinging when you're on Hall of Fame difficulty makes it a little bit hard because that PCI does shrink. But now it seems like you have to power swing in order to get anything out. And if you're using a batter that has good vision, good power, then yeah, I would power swing. But I mean, if that PCI is small to begin with, I might not do it. Because when you power swing, the PCI does get small. I mean, look at the size of that one. Well, you really can't see it that well because it's change up 85 miles per hour. It's right over it, but the PCI does shrink. And power swinging now can help you hit deep flies and hit home runs. And it really feels like you need the power swing. Ah, I shouldn't have swung at that. What am I doing? But it really feels like you need the power swing in order to get anything out of here. Uh, that right there to me, I do better with smaller PCIs. I don't know why I swung at that, but I do better with smaller PCIs, so that helps a little bit. But at the same time, the PCI is actually larger before you go to swing, so it can make it worse. And you really have to put some time in practice and find where you need to go in order to get a good solid power swing hit. Because see, the PCI is bigger right now, and then when I go to power swing, it actually just gets smaller on its own. So I could think that I'm on it just by the size of this one, and then go to power swing and not be on it at all. Well, I tried to check that. Good job. See, look how big, how big that was. Yeah, look how big it was. Look how small that was. Like it's just tiny. He's got good contact and good power. I don't know what his vision is. I'm using Freddie Freeman. It seems like it should be a little bit bigger since I'm on All-Star. I don't know. Like if I was on Legend, that would be, jeez, that would be small. So that right there, like I was off of it. I power swung, hit it pretty far, and I wasn't that far off of that. If I was using wedge, that dot would be right underneath the ball, and that's about where a home run comes from. But that's all right. You're not always going to hit home runs. You're not always going to get hits. There's times you're going to be right on it, and it's just going to be right to somebody. You know, there's times where you're not going to have good timing, and you're still going to get a hit. Hitting is different this year. It is a lot different, and practice mode can help a lot, but there's only so much you can do in practice mode and then go into an online game. Like there's differences in playing against the computer and playing against an actual person. Like the timing's different, the PCI sizes get different, like everything is just a little bit different. So the more you play online, the better you're gonna be. That was a good hit. I power swung there. Might have been just a little bit to the side of it. I was. So I didn't really square that one up. It was still on it was still on the bat, but I didn't square that one up, and it ended up being a line drive, which is what I would expect out of that. Even though your opponent would probably hate that since the PCI wasn't on it. Like the PCI isn't actually the bat. It's just, well, it's not an extension of the bat. Is that what they said? Or isn't an extension of the bat? Like the ball can be beside of it and you can still get a hit. Like I can't remember exactly how they said that, but it's one of those two. I don't remember right now. But I mean, most of this stuff, if you do it, it can really help you. And you know, like if you can get a monitor, that'll really help. Because playing on a standard TV does get hard. You have to try to act ahead, and sometimes it just gets too hard. And the more you play, the more you go into practice, the better you will be at reading pitches, you know, knowing if you should swing or not. Like that right there, I should not have swung at that, but it looked good for a second. You're going to know, you know, if you keep practicing to lay off that. And then that one right there, I jammed the left analog stick down, and I went down too far. I wasn't, really gentle with it. I just threw it down. And that one right there, I tried to throw it up and I went straight over. So, try to feather it. Just barely move it. Try not to move it too hard. And in no time, like if you keep practicing, you'll be good. I'm gonna stop power swinging now because I don't think I've been on one. It's just too small. I'll let go of that one. It started finding its way back to the center. I do that a lot, so I go into practice mode to try to stop doing it. But these tips, like, these are just some that I thought of that could help some people. Some of this stuff might not help you. You might have a different way of doing it and be better than you would be if you did try these tips. Honestly, like, I think I covered everything I wanted to. I can't really think of any more right now. I probably will as soon as the video's done. I probably will think of more and wish that I'd put it in there. But I guess that's it. Just the best thing I can tell you is just go into practice mode and practice. It really does help. Even if you feel like you can hit well, if you still go into practice mode and practice, it still helps. All of the best players do it, and they do it for a reason. It does help. But alright, guys. You all have a great day. Alright, see you.